Thank you. Well, first of all, I think we should give the panel a big round of applause. Since we were on that question, that last question, let me just share a quick story, one that I always like to tell when I'm on a panel and that question comes up about heaven and hell. I mean, and it's really one of the first Quranic verses that I ever read that was very striking to me. And the context of it was when Muhammad was in Medina, the last city he lived in for 10 years, where he founded an Islamic state, you might say. There were Muslims, Christians, Jews, and others, non-believers who lived in that city. And there was a constitution that allowed them all to do what they wanted to do. But you might imagine one day they were together. As the story goes, there was a group of Christians, a group of Muslims, a group of Jews together, and they were arguing over whose religion was best. And it was it was almost becoming a violent argument. And into the courtyard walked Muhammad. And they all sort of recognized him as being the prophet of God. And so I said, well, let's ask the prophet of God. He'll know whose religion is best. So you can maybe imagine the Muslims, getting ready for the answer. But because it was such an important question, Muhammad sometimes answered as a man, and that's what we call the hadith. But sometimes a revelation would come, and that became the Quran. And this was an example of when that happened. And so if you're a Muslim, you believe the answer that Muhammad gave is God speaking. And God's answer was, don't argue about things for which you know nothing about. At the end of time, I will show you how you truly differed one from the other. But if you want to compete in the here and now, compete in good deeds. And I think that's a pretty powerful answer. Pretty powerful answer, and one we should really be considering for our time and place. The Reverend mentioned the commandment about not bearing false witness. And that's, to me, it's a passive commandment if you take it from just don't tell lies, but there's an active commandment if you think about, you shouldn't spread ideas that you don't know really what the truth of the matter is. So coming to something like this, learning more and continuing to learn more is really an important thing, and you should all give yourselves a big round of applause for being here tonight to do that. So on the topic of resources, our company, Unity Productions Foundations, we are a filmmaking company. We make documentaries. Many of them have been on PBS. Our current one on Islamic art will be premiering on an arts festival on PBS this summer. But we've made several others. As you're leaving, there's a resource table. I'm not sure if we actually have DVDs available for you there, but you can sign up and receive them. We have a project and a program, part of our organization, called 20,000 Dialogues. And in that, you get to get a DVD for free as long as you agree to have a little house party or bring some people together, watch the program, and they cover many issues, and just have a discussion, have a dialogue. And again, trying to expand this notion of what we are rather than contracting it. So there will be a table as you're leaving where you can sign up for that. Also, you'll see a camera set up. The film that you saw at the beginning of the program, My Fellow American, is a part, actually, it's not just a little film, but it's a part of a web project where we're really trying to use that to prod, if you would, folks to stand up against that rhetoric and tell a story about a Muslim who may have had a positive impact on your life, or to make a statement that affirms that Muslims are part of the national fabric and really deserve all the rights of any of us. So as you're going out, you can, if you have a story to share, you can do it on camera. Please go to the website. It's at the back of your programs. I won't give you the long address, but it's at the back of your programs to check it out. I'll end by finally saying, this is the week that we honored Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and we might want to remember a very important thing he said on the occasion when he had received a Nobel Prize and he was being honored. There was a reception for him later, and he was being honored for it. He said that, the greatest tragedy in history is not the fact that there are bad people who say, virulent things and do violent acts. That's not the tragedy of history. The tragedy of history is the good people who are silent and do nothing. And so that's, compete in good deeds. That's an admonition for all of us. So I urge you all to do what you can do. As I said, we are at a crossroads of history. Generations will look back on us like we look back on generations that, dealt with the issue of slavery or Jim Crow. And we may feel how we would have taken the stand, how we would have been the people who would have been marching and doing all that stuff. Well, we're at a crossroads today. And what stand are you going to take as we face this period of great destructive rhetoric that we're engaged in? All of us need to take a stand that unifies us and not divides us. So with that, I'm going to let you see one last 1-minute clip. We've received probably 100 people now who have uploaded videos telling their stories. This is a compilation of a few people who have a message for you, and then it's good night. Thank you very much.